Welcome to Blinkers Off with your hosts, Jared Welch and Aaron Halterman.
What is up? I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. It is Thursday, July 18th, and this is Blinkers Off. What is up, man?
What's up, everybody? Yes, that's right. We've got the Haskell, we've got Saratoga, we've got Torpedo Anna, and we've got Del Mar all coming up. So it's going to be a wild Saturday, Jared. I mean, from pretty much the time you wake up, it seems like Monmouth will be starting, to the time you go to bed, which is Del Mar. So it's going to be wild.
Yeah, we got opening day at Del Mar. We've got the CCA Oaks. We've got the Haskell. I mean, it's really literally across the country of racing. And you kind of alluded to it last week, and well, you're not wrong. Like, this is like this is it, right? I mean, you take a break, or no, the break is over, and now let's take a look ahead, because the next 8 weeks or 6 weeks are just going to be straight up solid racing after solid racing, week after week. I mean, literally, every week.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it. Next weekend, the Jim Dandy, the next weekend, the Whitney, and it just goes on from there, leading up to the Travers and Pacific Classic. But, look, I think that the Haskell kind of kicks it off, right, for us, like we've been talking about. I know we had Saratoga opening weekend, and that was fun, but the Haskell kind of kicks off the next series of big 3-year-old races. And I'm not sure that it's got the greatest field we'll ever see after all is said and done with the scratches, but it might have the best horse in the crop right now. So we'll kind of just see how it progresses. We'll see what happens. I think, if you don't like the Haskell, there's 14 other races on this card. I guess 13 other races on this card. There's a lot to like about Monmouth in general.
Yeah, as a nice little plug here, we do have we're going to talk about the Haskell, of course, here on the on Blinkers Off, but we have the betting Bible we're working on right now. It is available for sale at the website at racingdudes.com. We're should be available tonight, Thursday night. But yeah, we're not gonna go over every race detail by detail, because we do have it available in the betting Bible. My picks, your picks, every possible pick you would want out of each race, on top of the pick or the top fours from everybody at racingdudes.com. So we're going to have a ton of coverage on the entire card, but we will talk about the Haskell in depth. And we'll get into it, but it's an interesting field, and it's not just because of who's in it, but also because who may not run in it as well.
Yeah, I guess Fierceness is out. That's kind of what we're hearing. And then I guess Dornoch is not going to run in the weirdest decision ever, if that's the case. They said they drew the rail and they didn't like that. And I'm like, you're a speed horse. You drew the rail and you didn't like it. What? Like, I don't know. It's weird. So if those two are out officially, it does make it a really kind of like, well, Mindframe really needs to win this race situation, right? Yeah. But look, nothing's, I guess, official yet. But from what we're pretty much told, I don't think Dornoch or Fierceness, I don't think either one of them are going to run. And if they don't, it really takes a lot of the fire out of the race.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I never considered Fierceness as a real possibility, And even when he was entered, I was like, well, we're going to do the typical Pletcher thing here, and we're going to scratch him.
Yeah,
because the way that was trending, it was kind of like this was always Mindframe's race, and then it was like, oh, Fierceness is going to run too. And we talked about that a little bit last week as far as who should run where, but yeah, it wouldn't make a lot of sense to have them both run. I mean, not that it really matters too much, but they have very similar running styles as well, and it's just kind of weird to have them both entered. So I never really assumed he would run. Dornoch scratching is about the most. Okay, let me just say this: if he's healthy, we have no idea. But if he's assuming he's healthy, it's the most pathetic, weak move a trainer, in my opinion, can make. Like, what are you doing? You're scratching because you drew the one. You're a speed horse who wants to get to the front, and you drew the rail in $1 million. Like, it's just weak. It's pathetic.
I can't really say anything more than that. I think you're right. Again, you have to always pause because you never really know what's actually happening versus what they're saying is happening, right? So he
Right.
could be injured. Something could have happened. I mean, that is what it is. But if what they're saying on the surface is really the reasoning, plain and simple, it's just kind of a weird reason. Like I literally, when I saw the field and I saw him in the rail, I thought, ooh, that makes him dangerous. That makes him more dangerous.
Yeah.
So I don't get it. Maybe there's something else going on that they're not really saying. I'm not sure. And look, you can wait and go to the Jim Dandy, and you could draw the rail again, or maybe you draw another post you don't like or whatever. So I don't really know what's going on with Dornoch, but he does like Saratoga, and I guess for me, it's like if you wanted to run him in the Jim Dandy, and this goes with Pearson's as well, just enter him in the Jim Dandy. Why are you even entering here if you don't really want to run? And so it's kind of weird. It's a weird situation. But again, they're very wishy-washy about it. Who knows? He may still run, but at this point, it doesn't really sound like it.
Yeah, it was, honestly, it came out for me. I mean, came out of right field or left field. It's like, okay, what are we doing? I mean, it was like, okay, great, he's in. And then it's like immediately after, it's like, well, I don't know. We're going to see about scratching him out of it and go to the Jim Dandy. It's like, okay, that's weird. Yeah. I don't know if, I don't know. I mean, I guess if fierceness is in there, I maybe they're avoiding Mindframe a little bit. I mean, you beat them last time, so I don't know why you would do that. It just didn't make a lot of sense. And you're right. Like, okay, well, what if you draw the rail on the Jim Dandy? Now is it good? Like, why even? I understand. Well, I don't understand. I don't like it, but I understand, I guess, in a sense, why Pletcher does what he does with fierceness and Mindframe. You got two. I mean, Dustin Sky's in there as well, but like one of them maybe not run or whatever. But to have a horse like Dornoch, I mean, there's no, like, it's just why even bother to enter if you're not gonna for sure run.
If you're a trainer out there and you've got a 3-year-old that's pretty decent, and you're trying to dodge horses in this crop, stop. There's nobody to dodge. I'm sorry. Now maybe, look, Mindframe, you could we'll talk all about him. There's no reason to duck him right now. There's just not. No. So go run in your race wherever you need to run at. I don't know. We'll see how it works out. Maybe he'll scratch out of this, win the Jim Dandy. Maybe it's all talk and he'll run in this. See, it's horse racing. Who the hell knows? But it was an odd day when the news broke that scratch of Dornoch could happen because of the reasoning.
And no, I want to go further on this. Like, it's got me thinking the last couple of days. Well, I guess since yesterday, whenever I saw the news of him maybe scratching, it's like, and then on top of it, it's like the same song and dance with Pletcher. It's like, how many times have we seen Pletcher enter multiple horses? And it's like, okay, which one's going to actually run? Which one's going to scratch? Whatever. Do you think because it's so and we're diehards, right? This is what we do, but it's still infuriating and impossible to do our job, and let alone the handicappers and trying to make a pick four to put a pick four ticket together or whatever the case is. It's like, do you think there should be some sort of penalty? And again, it's horse racing, so they're probably going to give you a $100 fine or whatever. But like, there's got to. I just feel like it's hurting the game to have all these. Okay, we're going to enter, and then we're going to have 4 scratches the morning of and run. You know what I mean? It's just becoming. It's like if you're entering a horse, run them. And hey, listen, if your horse cannot absolutely break from the one hole, absolutely no, this, and your horse does it, you say, okay, well, we're going to take the penalty and we're going to scratch. But it just I don't know. I feel like it's hurting the game, hurting us bettors, which we know very well we get screwed. We're the ones that get screwed on everything. But it's hard to enjoy the game when it's like, well, it's like explain to somebody how what the game's like, and you're like, well, this horse may not run. Like, what do you mean he may not run? Like, well, we might scratch a minute, 5 minutes before the race, or an hour before the race, or this morning. We don't know. It just feels like there should be some sort of punishment for that.
I think about the only way you could do it is make it to where the vet has to scratch him. If you enter a horse into the race, you have to have a vet scratch that horse, or you can't scratch. You can't scratch just for the hell of it, and that's the thing that always has pissed me off with Pletcher, and he's done it a lot. And there's others. Baffert's done it too. If you they enter fierceness and immediately go, well, we're going to scratch. Stop. Just don't enter the horse. It's not that hard, right? I mean, so that's the thing that always kind of irritates me. Like, if a horse has to scratch because he's injured or whatever, then it is what it is. That's just part of it. You don't want to run a lame horse. But yeah, I mean, to enter a horse into a race knowing you're not going to run in it, it's just kind of crazy to me. And something does need to be done. But because the biggest problem is, you're right, like, you handicap the race and it's like, well, the way the race shapes up completely changes if fierceness runs or doesn't run, and if door knock runs or doesn't run. Everything changes. And you're going to handicap it for 2 or 3 days, and then an hour before, well, I guess it'd be 3 or 4 hours before the race, and all the elements change. I mean, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, just like in any sport, like, you can't, like, if there is a guy, injury reports and things of that nature, like, you have to you can't just, like, like, you can, like, we see it all the time where, like, a team will say, well, he's questionable all week, when really they know he's not going to play, but it's really about making the team they're playing for, but at the end of the day, like, by Saturday, they have to know, okay, he's out, kind of thing. Like, at least it's a day ahead. It'd be nice to have at least something to where, and yeah, like, if there is a penalty, I don't know if there is. There might be a penalty, like $1,000 or something if you scratch a horse, but it's like, at that point, who cares? If you're fierceness, right? If you're Ripoli, you don't care, right? No. I feel like there should be, like, it's like, hey, if you scratch him, if you enter him and scratch him, he's not eligible to run for 2 weeks or something like that, like, where it's like, whoa, crap, like, we can't, if we're going to run them, we're going to run. Now, again, if it's a vet scratch, different story. But I don't know. It just, I got me thinking, it's like, it's like, it happens so much. Like, we handicap these day in and day out. And it's like, you look at a race, and you and I and people that are on the stream here, it's like, you kind of start to know, but you're like, you have to read the tea leaves a little bit. Like, okay, well, I'm pretty sure he's not going to run, but I think he might, you know what I mean? It's just, it's almost like you have to have this sixth sense to know. And it makes it even harder and more frustrating.
Yeah. No, what more can I really add? It's just, it's stupid. If you're going to enter a horse, you better intend on running them. I don't understand how it could be any different than that. It's so I don't know. I think, at the end of the day, we've got way more problems, bigger problems than this. But again, and you said it, as a handicapper, as a bettor, it's always frustrating, and it happens all the time. And it's been happening more and more in the bigger races.
Well, let's think of where we've come from. I mean, you think Lucas still doesn't do this. If he enters a horse, he's running them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no question, no doubt about it, unless the horse is hurt, right? I mean, that, and again, that you can't do anything about that. But, like, if that horse is running in the race, entered in the race, I mean, damn sure he's going to run in the race, right? Yep. There's no C's to Gray here in the Haskell and then scratching him out to run in the Jim Dandy. You know what I mean? That ain't happening. We've known forever where he's running, and it's like that. That doesn't happen anymore. It's like the old school guys, and that's about it. So,
yep, pretty much. And I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I remember when they entered locked. I think it was in the Fountain of Youth. I think the Fountain of Youth, and immediately we got to tell he's not running. He's hurt. It was like, well, why did you enter? Like this, it's so crazy. And then every day, be like, well, he's not going to run. Don't pick him. He's not going to run. It's like, this is so stupid, And that was a situation where people didn't know. That was not public knowledge,
Yeah.
And we're on the show Thursday, and we're like, why aren't you picking locked? And we're like, well, and we're having to make up shit. And it's like, this is so dumb. Like,
Well, what takes the cake is what was the not who was it? Was it Fierceness out of the Derby? Or no, what was it one?
Forte,
I'm sorry, yeah, Forte. The Forte Derby. Like listening to Pletcher on like NBC be like, yeah, he's great. And like everything we know and hear is like, no, he's hurt and he's not going to run. Like, they're begging, like, Ripoli wants to run, Pletcher doesn't. But then you literally look on TV from that morning work, he went to the track, he's great. I mean, we're set, and you're like, what is happening? And it just goes to show, like, you and I have to know people that know people that know people that, like, have, I mean, like in-depth knowledge of that barn, even to have an inkling. Whereas like the regular bettor is clueless to it, right?
Yep.
So, and that goes even further. Like that was a Derby. Like how many times does that happen where a horse still runs, right? But shouldn't run, and so you bet the horse at whatever, and that's a whole other story. But okay. Anyways, any lasting comments about that before we move on?
Nope.
Yeah, this is a win in your hand for the Classic. So yeah, why not have everyone scratch it and head to the Jim Dandy? Why not? Speaking of, all right, guys, let's get to it. We're going to look at Saturday's $1 million NYRA Bets Haskell Stakes at Monmouth Park. It is a Breeders' Cup win you're in for the Longines Breeders' Cup Classic, and then we're going to give rapid fire selections for Del Mar. That's right, Del Mar returns, as well as Saratoga. Big racing this weekend at Saratoga. Let's go. Yeah, it is a win you're in, but let's just scratch everybody out of it.
Well, the only good news for me handicapping wise is my pick didn't change.
Yeah.
So, I don't, even if they run or they don't run, it's not going to matter for me.
Well, the kicker will be Saturday morning. Mindframe will scratch. Fiercest will run.
Well, that would change a lot. Or they're all out.
Yeah. Yeah, no shit. Did you have any? Well, I guess we can talk about it in a second.
Yeah.
But were you like if Mindframe wasn't in the race? Let's just pretend Mindframe's not in the race. Would you have and Fierceness was? Are you picking him?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so, but
no, can't do that.
I can't. I mean, it honestly, I don't. For me, nothing can happen in any future race of his for me to be like, yeah, I feel better about it now.
Well,
no,
easy.
Like he could win the Jim Dandy by 8, and then the Travers I won't pick him.
He's the ultimate. Just kind of play him on your play him on your pick 4s and pick 5s, and don't pick him to win horse. I mean, at this point,
yep.
Don't let him beat you, but don't rely on him.
As we know. All right, Saturday at Monmouth Park. That's right. We have race number 12, the NYRA Bets Haskell Stakes, Grade 1, $1 million, mile and 8 for the 3-year-olds. It is a Breeders' Cup. Winning you're in for the Longines Classic, and on paper, we have a field of 8, Halterman. As we kind of alluded to in the opening, we're likely going to be down to at least a field of 7, maybe down to a field of 6. We'll see. But regardless, 9-5 favorite, and probably will be a stronger favorite after those possible scratches. The number 7, Mindframe, is your 9-5 favorite. Last seen getting second in the Belmont after a big ask, and it looked like he was about to run away with the thing, and decided he would come say hi to us in the grandstands, and then still tried to win the race. Got second to Dornock, who is one of those horses that might possibly scratch. Okay, so he's the favorite, should be the favorite. You also have Tuscan Sky, which I imagine is going to run here as well. It was interesting. It had looked kind of rebounded last time out, looked good. Then you've got Timberlake. How about Timberlake in here? Pratt and Cox hadn't been seen in over 100 days. Took a break. Needed to cut back. Now we decided to run in the Haskell off the break. 8-1. So what are you thinking of this one?
Yeah, this is again, let's treat it like Dornock and Fierceness aren't going to be in it for now, because that's kind of what we're hearing. Again, not official, but when you take those out of it, it does kind of, we've kind of been like, why is Timberlake in this race? But when you take those horses out of it, Jared, it does. I mean, it makes a little bit of sense, doesn't it? Because basically now, if those two horses are out, and Timberlake's got a shot to hit the board here, no doubt. So it's not such a bad spotting after all for Timberlake. But look, I think at the end of the day, even though Pletcher sounds like he's going to scratch Fierceness, I think it's Mindframe versus Tuscan Sky. I really liked how Tuscan Sky ran last time out. I was very excited to see that performance out of him. I thought he had been He was very disappointing in the Wood Memorial. He came back and ran very well in the local prep race for this, as I just did a 9-2 photo here at Saratoga. I'm excited about. And but anyway, and then you look at what Mindframe did at the Belmont. To me, if Dornoch and Fierceness are going to be scratched out of this thing, Tuscan Sky and Mindframe are way the horses to beat now. And I still think it's Mindframe. I think he's a little bit better horse than Tuscan Sky. And I think he'll go get him this time. And I expect him to run straight into the stretch this time. I think they learned what they need to do and what they shouldn't do on Mindframe. So whether those two big horses are scratched or not, I think it's all about Pletcher. And I think at the end of the day, it's all about Mindframe.
If Dornoch runs, are you interested in, like, is it become Tuscan Sky or Dornoch as far as like the threats to Mindframe? Are you enough on Dornoch after that where you're like, yeah, if he goes gate to wire, that's possible?
Nope, not at all. I will not play Dornoch in this race if he stays in, and maybe in the bottom of a try would be about where I would play him. Look, he ran a tremendous race in the Belmont. I absolutely will not take that away from him. I thought he was fantastic. Mindframe and his stupidity, we'll call it, it happened. However, Dornoch still had to run very, very well to win the race. So I won't take it away from him. He's ran very, very shitty other than that race. And so for me, I'm not going to play him at a short price the next time out. He's going to have to prove it to me. And I was not going to play him in this race. I don't know who's going to be in the Jim Dandy next week, but I doubt I'll play him in the Jim Dandy if that's where he decides to go.
I'll be honest. I'm hoping he scratches because I'm a little bit more bullish on him. Not necessarily from like, I like the horse. It's just I'm more worried about him than anything. So it's just like, if he runs, although I got to say, I don't love the way they're just wishy-washy with it all anyways to start. So, but just, that race, and maybe it's because I had Mindframe in the Belmont. I'm still not over him beating me. So I'm worried about it happening again. But I think, it's what's interesting about Timberlake in this race is like people, it's been like, it feels like it was a lifetime ago, but the Arkansas Derby in March, he went to the lead. He acted like an idiot. He kind of got, I don't know what happened really, but he got to the lead and then looked like he was going to try to run away with it, and obviously tired. And then obviously something happened, finished fourth. So if that hasn't been his style really for the most part, but if there is any of that, especially off the layoff, we've seen horses kind of be geared up off the layoff. He could create some sort of pace pressure with Tuscan Sky. Tuscan Sky seems to be the Pletcher that is going to go, whereas Mindframe, while he does have speed, he kind of showed that day, especially in the Belmont, like, hey, we'll sit off, we'll go get ready, the perfect trip. So you kind of wonder if Timberlake, I'm with you, just basically if there is those scratches, like he becomes a player. You're not going to get 8-1 on him, unfortunately, if you like that, but you'd probably be like 4-1 or something, like cut in half. But if you do get if those scratches happen, he becomes at least a pace presence, and I think could factor in a little bit with kind of setting the race up perfectly for Mindframe.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And you kind of mentioned on Mindframe, this is a horse. He reminds me a lot of Torpedo Anna in this way of, if the pace is slow, he'll take it. He'll take the lead. And if the pace is fast, he will sit. You saw in his maiden race, he kind of just sat off of it a little bit and then went and got him. His second race, the pace was glacier-like. Is how I would describe it. The only way you can describe it, really. And he took the lead and galloped away. And the pace was so slow that everybody after the race said, when the pace speeds up, he'll get burned out. And we are two people, and I could definitely say this about us, that know the difference between a pure speed horse and a horse that can sit. And so the next race comes, the pace gets hot. Everybody's playing against him that didn't like him that day because they're thinking he's going to burn himself out. But what does he do? He sits 2 to 3 lengths off of it. He runs the same race every time. He's going to clunk out his 24s and 48s. And if you're going 45 up front, he'll be off the pace.
Yeah.
And if you're not, he'll be on the pace. And that's that. And that's what Torpedo Anna does as well. And that's why they're really hard horses to beat. Now, however, here's how you get beat. You go to the grandstand in the stretch, right? So there's how you get beat. If even though you have the perfect running style, you can still lose.
They'll do it
because of shit like that. And listen, I said it on the video. That was my number one fear coming into that race.
Yeah.
I put him second in the Belmont because I didn't know if he was ready to handle it. And he was ready until he wasn't, basically. He took the lead. He starts to pull away, and then the immaturity comes in. And that's why we say things like this over and over and over on these shows. Maturity matters. It's hard to go from an allowance at Churchill Downs and then your third start is the Grade 1 Belmont Stakes. That's tough. There's a reason why Todd Pletcher didn't want to do it. He wanted to run him in the Pegasus Stakes at Monmouth, and then the fourth start would be the Grade 1 Haskell, which would have been his second stakes race. Well, it didn't work out that way. He kind of got his hands forced, but at the end of the day, we saw this horse it has a chance to be elite. And if they can work out those problems, he will be elite. And if he didn't drift in the stretch, everybody on here would be saying this is some kind of monster. Well, if they can correct that problem, he still has a chance to be a monster.
Well, listen, he's ran only 3 starts. Mindframe. His worst race, numbers wise, was the second race, which he received a 97 buyer. Dornoch has only ran 1 race over a 97 in his whole career, and that was the last one. So just to kind of put that into perspective, like Mindframe, and look at anybody. I mean, Timberlake doesn't even sniff Mindframe from a numbers standpoint. Tuscan Skies ran 1 race that was over a 97. It was a 99 in his last start. Point being is, like he is like leaps and bounds better than anyone in this field. Fiercest is the only horse that's better numbers wise, but we also know we don't know what to expect from Fiercest. So, and obviously he doesn't sound like he's going to run here anyway. So, I do think that Mindframe has the ability to be like, this is the win you're in for the Classic. I mean, he could win the Classic, no doubt about. I think he could win the Classic. Now, obviously, he's going to have to continue to improve, but I think out of the 3-year-olds we have. I mean, this is probably the only, I mean, well, who knows with right, with the Baffords, but this is probably the only 3-year-old that I'm interested in the Classic as we are, in July.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. Pending what happens with Torpedo Anna, whatever happens there, pending what happens in the Jim Dandy, and maybe a horse kind of develops at the right time. There's actually a really good horse in the Curlin tomorrow that could develop, maybe not that quickly, but looks good. But yeah, no, at the end of the day, he is the horse that has projects to have the biggest future right now. So this is, but look, if he's that horse, he has to win right here. If he drifts out again, then the hell with him, basically, is what I would say after that. I mean, I can give him a pass for the Belmont. Again, you kind of went into that race knowing there could be issues like that pop up. I never in my wildest dream would I have projected what happened to happen. That was nuts, but still, you knew some little weird stuff could happen. Now, you mentioned there is that one horse out there that may not scratch out of this race, and that's Tuscan Sky that's ran a pretty good number. Okay, his last race was damn good right here at Monmouth, and he dominated Domestic Product. Domestic Product came back and ran really well in his next start. I think Tuscan Sky, obviously throw out the wood. That was just a horrific race. His other 3 races have been really, really good. To me, Tuscan Sky is kind of the quote-unquote poor man's Mindframe a little bit. He's developing. He's making all the right steps. I think he could make this race close.
If he runs his last race, for sure. Yeah, I agree. Because that last race was kind of what we hoped it would be, right? As far as he had obviously been a horse that was hyped up, got into the Wood Memorial, was he's 3-1 that day, and then just was just a disaster from all accounts. But yeah, I mean, if he's that, or really honestly, dude, like if you just scratched out the Wood Memorial, I think that's the issue, right? Because he ran a 89 on debut, he ran a 95 in that allowance race, and then Pegasus he ran a 99. I mean, by all accounts, he's ready to run a monster race here. He just has that one weird kind of weird race in there. So I agree. I think that if there is a horse that, if Mindframe whatever reason doesn't bring it, like he could be the one, right? Tuscan Sky. I don't think by any measure there's like if they both run the race, Tuscan Sky wins. But I think if for whatever reason Mindframe doesn't run, or he's a little flat off of the Belmont or whatever, yeah, I think he definitely could have a shot, especially after that last race. He's fourthly placed. It could be a little bit similar to the Belmont, where it's like, oh crap, you better go get him. Like he's loose. Like you got to go get. Might get with it. And as long as Mindframe doesn't, go into the Monmouth, grandstands, he should win. But there's worse plays. Like, would you're so I'm gonna gather you're not. Are you singling Mindframe?
I'm gonna. It depends on the seat. There's a lot of sequences that goes through it. I've got him singled on some. I've got him and Tuscan Sky both played on some others. I really do think it's a 2-horse race. And again, if Dornoch and Fierceness are in the race, I probably would still think about just playing the 3 and the 7. I might throw. Well, no, I would throw Fierceness on the ticket. But wouldn't play him to win or anything like that. But I was really high on Tuscan Sky, but I kind of knew Fierce was going to scratch, but I was kind of going to play Tuscan Sky instead of Dornoch in that spot. Before I even heard anything. So I've really liked how this horse progressed. I kind of liked him, even though he only faced 2 other horses in that Fairgrounds allowance. He beat the hell out of Nash. And I know Nash isn't that good, but still, your second start, and Nash was an experienced horse at his home track, and Tuscan Sky was shipping in from Gulfstream at the time and came in there and dominated. I really thought Tuscan Sky was going to be very good. And, the Wood was a huge setback, no doubt, but maybe he started to figure it out again. He certainly looked like it last time out. He was awesome.
We'll see what happens with Tuscan Sky. I mean, what his price will go off at as well, especially with the scratches. So you're going to want to stay up to date for this, especially especially if you guys get the Bible. Obviously, we'll update all the picks on the site as well. But if you're in the Bible, make sure you get the updated version on Saturday morning, when we will have hopefully some sort of announcement on who's running and who's not. But all right, Halterman, give me your pick. Final thoughts of the race.
Yeah, I'm going to go Mindframe on top here. I think it's his to lose. And I text you and John and Ryan yesterday. I said it's his race to lose. Let's see if he can do it again, because it was his race to lose the top stretch of the Belmont, and he lost it. He found a way. Hopefully he doesn't here. I think if he behaves, runs like he's capable, I think it's a big win for Mindframe.
Yep, I'm on Mindframe. I think he's easily the one to beat. I think as long as he runs his race and straight, I think he's going to put in a pretty impressive effort. I really do. I think this is his race. I think that Belmont, showed Pletcher, not maybe probably disappointed they lost, but also showed like, okay, this is a real horse, and obviously showing up here kind of showcases that. So give me Mindframe to win, and give, I guess, maybe him would he run to the Travers after that? You think? Probably, right?
I would think, but I in today's times, who knows? But I would certainly think that would be the next goal for whoever wins this race or runs well in this race.
We'll see. Who knows how many Rapoli decides to run? Maybe we'll see him. Fierceness and him could run in the Travers. That probably could happen. So
one thing I'll say, if you have purchased the betting Bible or you purchase it, make sure to check back Saturday for updates, because I have handicapped this like Fierceness and Dornoch aren't going to be there. So if all of a sudden they're there, things are going to have to change. So make sure to look for the updates.
Man, but just for the record, like I think, wouldn't it be amazing to see like the Travers I mean, honestly, we could have such a really amazing, even though these maybe 3-year-olds, you can say what you want about them, but we could have such a iconic, epic Travers if some of this kind of pieces together. If we can get, if you say Mindframe, dominates here, you have, perhaps you have, Fierceness or, Sierra Leone or whoever wins the Jim Dandy. But let's just say you got CCA Oaks this weekend with Torpedo Anna. Let's say she runs to the Travers. You've got her. You've got Mindframe. You got Fierceness. You got Sierra. I mean, like that. I mean, that would be an incredible Travers.
I think if Torpedo Anna enters the Travers, it's going to be incredible. If she doesn't, it's going to be the Belmont.
Yeah, no,
which was good, but not anything to be like, okay, stop.
She needs to be in it. She needs to be in it.
Yeah, if she's in it, it adds a crazy amount of intrigue.
Especially if you have like Mindframe kind of become himself, so to speak, in this race, and he's like this huge threat. And you're like, okay, let's see what happens between Mindframe and by the way, Fierceness. Who knows what he'll do? And maybe Moose shows up. Who knows? All right, wishful thinking. We'll see. Our picks in the Haskell, though, are number 7, Mindframe. Yeah, Kev. I mean, there you go. 100%. 100%.
Okay.
Told you.
I certainly hope, but for the sake of the horse's health, I certainly.
Okay, let's just say like let's just say like dream scenario. We get Parenting and Muth in the Travers. Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You get Torpedo Anna, you get Mindframe, who just won the Haskell, Fierceness, and Sierra Leone, and then throw in Seize the Gray and Dornock, the other Triple Crown winners. Like, that's unbelievable.
It would be the best 3-year-old race by far if that could happen. I mean, by far. But
listen,
I've been around long enough to know if we get half of them, let's be happy.
Yeah, if we get one of them, I'll be happy. We're not going to talk about this race on rapid fire, but you mentioned a little bit with the Curlin being tomorrow. I wanted to give you an opportunity to kind of touch on this race. This is race number 3 tomorrow at Saratoga. Of course, the Curlin is kind of the redhead stepchild of the Jim Dandy. So obviously an Unmatched Wisdom seems to be a monster here.
Yeah, I think he is way, way the horse to beat in this race. So we'll see what happens. But his 2 races so far have been fantastic. Broke the maiden at a mile and then stretched out to a mile and 1/8 and looked even better in the next race. But look, I mean, Corporate Power, Timeout, Elephant's Ear. These are horses that at times have jumped up and ran very good races. So Unmatched Wisdom is going to have to be, at least decent. And we saw Corporate Power win a stakes. Timeout won a very competitive race last time out as well. But at the end of the day, if Unmatched Wisdom is who I think he is, he should kind of dispose of this group pretty easy. And I would think he's definitely one that's going to be aiming for the Travers if he does so.
That would be another, I mean, we know, like Kevin, I saw your comment earlier, like we're all victims of being suckered into a horse out of the Curlin, right? So we'll see. And obviously we've seen that wasn't Artorias to Chad Brown?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, come on. Like that one's the worst, right? Because he looked really good. But we'll see. This horse does seem to be kind of the real deal. But they say you can't, Chad Brown can't win big dirt races. So
right. Yeah. One person says that. That's true.
All right, let's get to some rapid fire.
Yeah, and that same person says Steve Asprey's he can't win turf sprints, and he's got a North American record holder, turf sprinter, that just won a Grade 1 race up there. So yeah,
well, as long as you keep saying it happens sometimes. You're right. So
yeah, exactly. Well, that's the world he lives in. For sure.
Well, that's the world I want to live in.
Me too.
All right, time for rapid fire presented by the Haskell Stakes 2024 Betting Bible. To get the new and improved Haskell Stakes Betting Bible available right now at racingdudes.com. Complete coverage for every race on Haskell Day on July 20th. That's this Saturday at Monmouth Park. There are 14 races on the card. You asked, we listened. We've got an updated Betting Bible layout. We have picks for it. We have exactas, trifectas, our top 4, win bets. long shots that me and Halterman like. We give you all kinds of betting options for each and every race for all 14 races. Pick fours, pick fives, all that good stuff. Top fours from not just myself and Halterman, but the whole team. Somich, Magic, Papa Dude, Dr. Miranda, Vinny, everyone at racingdudes.com is going to have top fours for every race, all 14 races on Haskell Stakes Day this Saturday at Monmouth Park. So make sure you go get the betting Bible. It is free if you are a premium subscriber. We have a ton. We have like 3, right? Counting this one in the next couple weeks.
Yep.
So this, each one's $40. You do the math. Or you can have a subscription for as low as $70 a month, and you'll get them for free. So $70 versus what? $120.
Not bad.
And you get the picks every single day for Saratoga, Del Mar, all the tracks running. I mean, come on. What are we doing? Yeah. Go get a subscription. Get the betting Bibles absolutely for free. They are waiting for you at racingdudes.com on the Get Racing Dudes Premium button. All right, let's get going to Del Mar, buddy. Del Mar is back. It's always a great time to see Del Mar back. Can't wait to be out there for the Breeders' Cup later this year. Race number 9, the San Clemente Stakes, grade 2, 200K, 1 mile on the turf for fillies, 3-year-olds. Dude, this was a good one to handicap. Field of 12. It's Del Mar, so we're going to get challenging fields left and right. Number 10, Medoro at 8-5 is your favorite. Ice cream. There we go at 3-1 and 8-1 on Zona Verde. But it's really, to me, and it's funny, I didn't see the odds when we were handicapping earlier. They weren't out, but that's kind of the way I saw it: the 10 versus the 6.
I think it is a 10 versus 6 matchup here. And honestly, I picked the 10 Medoro because I think that experience in Stakes Company might matter just enough. The source is 4 for 4, and 3 of the 4 races has been against Stakes Company. And, always looks good, always kind of runs the same race, sits back, pace gets hot. She comes running late. And look, I think cutting back to a mile, you look at that race 2 back at Santa Anita that was at a mile. I thought that was her best effort. I think that's going to help as well. I think the pace sets up for her. I think she gets the trip. So I went number 10, Medoro on top.
Boy, listen, between these two, I went back and forth on which one to pick. I even went as far as I watched all the replays, just because I thought these two were easily the ones to kind of that stood out to me. Hard to knock Medoro because, frankly, she hasn't lost, right? She's, she's done it all. She's won at this distance. She's won at Del Mar. I mean, what more really do you want? To me, though, I watched the 6, and this horse just looks kind of freaky, right? Mm-hmm. Just looks like we don't even know anywhere close to what the limit is of this horse. Now, the horse has only ran at 6 furlongs in both starts. Ran in October, didn't see her again till June, but that was just even better result that time out. It just looks like a horse that's ready to not only to win bigger races, but to go longer. And to me, this is a horse that 3-1. I'll take a little bit of a price versus the favorite, but I just think it's going to come down between those two. They've been working phenomenally well, it looks like. And so give me the 6, Ice Cream, You Scream. I think this horse might be pretty special. Gets my boy Barrios Hector aboard here, so as well. But I got the 6, Diamato, going to kick things off at Del Mar in the right way. All right, let's go to Saratoga. Back to Saratoga, I guess. I guess not back, but we're going to Saratoga for race number 10, the Lake George Stakes. It's a grade 3 worth $175K, going 1 mile on the inner turf for fillies, 3-year-olds, field of 10. Shows up here 5-2 on oversubscribe with Chad Brown, of course, versus another Chad Brown, Sweet Rebecca at 7-2. But you've also got, you got lists of horses in here. It's not, I would even call them like his C stringers, D stringers, maybe even for Chad Brown. So there might be some opportunity here. What do you think?
Yeah, I hate this race. I really looked here to try to find something to do. I went with number 7, De Regreso on top. Is that how you would say that? I think so. De Regreso. Look, this horse 3 straight wins, an allowance, a stakes, and then another stakes. all at Gulfstream. So that's kind of the bad news. But look, sends this horse up here. Sano sends this horse up here, I should say. He's done pretty good up at Saratoga over the last year. He's only sit 9 runners to the gate. 3 of them have won. 6 of them hit the board. So I do think this horse will be ready to fire. So I took a small shot against the Chad Brown runners here with the 7. I think 6-1 is a good enough price there. So give me the 7.
Yeah, I think you and I are on the same boat here. As far as I'm picking different horse, but as far as picking against the 2 oversubscribed, I mean, just that go watch the Wild Applause if you guys have. I mean, if it's been that wasn't long ago, so if you forgot about it, just the weirdest run race ever.
Yeah.
You know, as far as these horses go out like 20 lengths ahead of everybody. Oversubscribed is a mile back, and then they obviously come back, and just a weirdly ran race, and obviously looked good and got a decent number, but just before that the numbers weren't amazing, right? And so just the way that race was ran, it gives me a little pause to play the horse back at a short price. So I give me the 4 Vivuve for Sisterson. A horse that I think is going to love getting back to that mile. It does have a win, of course, overseas at a mile, but also has a win here at a mile. 2 for 3 at the mile distance. Ran a mile and 1/8 last time out in the Wonder Yen, which is a grade 2, and really ran well. Looked at top of the stretch, looked like a winner. Just got beat by a better horse that day who kind of overpowered her late. But I think the 4 at 8-1 is super interesting in that the mile will be will give them everything they want. So give me the 4 Vivuve to win here. All right, let's go to the next one here, which is, of course, the main event on Saturday at Saratoga, race number 11, the CCA Oaks. It is a grade 1 worth $500,000, going a mile and 8 for the fillies, 3-year-olds. And, of course, you have Torpedo Anna at 1-2, Leslie's Rose at 5-1, and Candied at 5-2. Same old bunch. Small field of 5, but good reason because it's Torpedo Anna.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be an easy win. Kate Dwyer, don't see any problems as long as she shows up with her race. She's better than these horses. So, she's another one, or she doesn't absolutely have to have the lead. But when you look at the other running styles in this race, she should get the lead and have it all her own way up front. And if that happens, yeah, the race is pretty much going to be over before it starts. So I think we'll see a really strong performance. Again, unless for whatever reason she decides that it's not the day for her, but she looks awfully tough on paper. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, this is not to say she hasn't had her coming out party, after dominating the Fantasy, dominating the Oaks, and dominating the Acorn. But listen, dominate the CCA Oaks. You win 3 straight grade 1s in dominating fashion. You go into the Travers, girl. All right. Give me 3 Torpedo Anna. This is her coming out party to say, you know what, you idiot, we're running in the Travers next time out. Okay. Forget Mystic Dan. That was a fluke. Whatever. Give me Torpedo Anna. I can't wait to watch this race just from a pure fan standpoint. I don't know that there's a lot of opportunity here as far as a betting. I'm just excited to see what she does. So, I do think just to make it interesting, to give you any kind of candy, that last race, we've only seen her twice. She ran in the Ashland, got smoked by Leslie's Rose. Of course, Leslie Rose got smoked by Torpedo Anna. But that last race at Monmouth, for what it's worth, looked really good and actually got a big number that day. Any concerns whatsoever? Do you think that was a real effort?
No, I mean, I think it was a good effort for sure. I don't feel like anybody's going to match up with Torpedo Anna. That's the deal, right? Even if the horse comes out and runs huge, maybe she scares us for a second. Maybe we go, oh boy, that was close, but no.
Yeah. I think she's the one that's like, oh yeah, and it's like, oh no, never mind.
Yeah.
Number 5. Let's go to race number 5 on Sunday at Saratoga. We're gonna move over to Sunday at Saratoga. Race 5, the Shuvee Stakes, grade 2. We're $200K, going a mile and 8 for the fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. You got a small field of 5 lined up here, and really a lot of shorter prices as well. Shotgun Hottie at 3-2, 7-5 on Raging Sea, 4-1 on Misty Vale. We'll see if she runs here. She's also entered on Saturday at Monmouth Park against Idiomatic. So we'll see what they decide to do there. And 9-2 on Just Catherine. What do you think here, man?
I took Shotgun Hottie on top in this one. I thought the race last time out by Shotgun Hottie was really, really good. Just barely got beat by Celia. And I know Celia kind of had a weird trip and kind of Shotgun Hottie did too that day as well. But I thought it was a very good effort. And I think she shows up here with a pretty good effort again. So for me, it's all about number one Shotgun Hottie in this spot. I think she's getting better. I don't know that she's going to be able to go up and face the big time horses in this division, but she's getting there. Every race seems to be kind of getting closer to that spot where maybe at least she can go take a shot at him.
Yeah, I'm with you. You pretty much said it all there. I like Shotgun Hottie here as well. I do like the 4 Mistyville if they decide to run here. So we'll see what happens. I thought that last effort was nice. This seems a lot more winnable than trying to beat Idiomatic. And I mean, I don't think the purse off the top of my head, the purse was anything too dramatic, different. So I kind of like to see her run here. We'll see what they do. But that last race I thought was really impressive and has ran nice races kind of her whole career. Mistyville has, but Shotgun Hottie definitely has been a consistent horse, has ran well, especially has ran well this year as of late. The Florida Lease just ran, really too good to lose. Just got beat by a better horse that day. The last race prior to that was really nice. So, give me the horse number one, Shotgun Hottie. I think it's a tough race to decide on because there's some options, but I really don't have any idea how this thing is going to be bet. I think it's obviously with Mistyville is in it, it makes it more interesting as well. I mean, Raging Sea at 7-5, but I don't really know the 7-5 on her.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be the betting line is going to be weird.
Yeah, 7-5 on Raging Sea seems way too short. It's not a tough race. That's the good news, but I don't love the 3 as a big favorite and certainly could be, but I tend to think Shotgun Hottie's going to be the favorite, but maybe I'm wrong.
The Molly Pitcher is an extra 3. Is it a $500,000 race? Damn. Did not know that.
I didn't notice, but I didn't look at the purses. I just handicapped them. Let's see.
I assumed it was, grade 3 at Monmouth Park. It would not. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, 500. Yep.
Well, they might run there then, I guess. We'll see what Maker decides to do, but we are both picking number one, Shotgun Hottie, to win the Shuvee on Sunday. Yeah, maybe they do run her there.
I think they will.
I didn't realize that. By the way, this comment got me, Kevin. JK on Fox today said he's taking Candied. Let me tell you, like that guy, if you watch just watch one Saturday at Saratoga with him, it cracks me up every time. He'll have some horse, the spiel about whoever. It was last week and I can't remember what it was, but over and over about this horse, it's an upsetter, right? And then the horse that should win wins and rolls, and they come back to him. He's like, well, yeah, that horse is just too good to beat. And, blah, blah, blah. It goes on. You're like, well, why didn't you pick him? Like it's just, it's amazing. It's like how many times that guy is no matter what, it feels like he was right.
I don't really watch it anymore. I couldn't tell you. Somebody was complaining. I don't remember who they were complaining about. And I was like, well, I mean, it is kind of a simple solution. Don't watch. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just crazy.
Yeah. I still think it was a bad bet. That's funny. Yeah.
Somebody told me, I forget it again. I forget it was somebody told me in the last race Sunday, maybe he said, I'm going to play every horse but one. And that horse won the race and then got disqualified. But so he ended up being right, I guess. But somebody told me that. I said, well, that's it. Listen, I'll say this I'm going to be politically correct here and kind of honest at the same time. I'm done making fun of other handicappers because that's a good way for all your picks to lose the next day when you do that. This is not easy for anybody. And They may be bad opinions. There may be good opinions on that show. It's really hard to get these right. And everybody's watching it on top of that and analyzing everything you do. It's tough. So I have a little bit of sympathy for him for sure.
Well, in reality is the NYRA way is kind of to be that way, to kind of have those hot takes and to be, because, we've seen that obviously a lot. And what do people do? They watch, and whether they're right or wrong, they don't care. They watch, like, can you believe that, Andy picked this horse? Or it's like, well, you're talking about it, you're watching it, you're betting it or whatever. So I get it.
Well,
you kind of have to know, just it is part of the game.
The Andy Sterling hate is always kind of funny to me because he clearly plays a character on television and on social media. And when you actually see that guy away from the racetrack, he's not like that at all. No. But either he's decided he's going to be the villain or whatever, or somebody has told him to be the villain, but he's not really like that in person outside of the racetrack. So I don't know.
Yeah, he I love, my favorite thing that Andy does. I've become a fan of Andy, to be honest with you. And is like when someone's on there making jokes or whatever, and you could just, and again, maybe he doesn't really care, maybe it's still the shtick, but he doesn't even acknowledge. It's like try harder, you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't even laugh. No. He doesn't acknowledge it. He just has this look of like, it's just because they're lame jokes or whatever anyway. So you're just like, it's pretty lame anyways. But he's just stoned, It's like none of that fake. Haha, yeah, that's funny. He's just like, nope, try harder, dude.
Yeah,
it cracks me. Or he'll just shut a guy up real fast. It just, I love it. So it's kind of my favorite.
No,
but yeah, you'll see him out at Saratoga, and it's like, no, that's not the same guy on TV. So.
No, but it is, look, all those people, it is what it is. They're all going to get made fun of at times. They're never going to get really any credit when they do good because everybody wants to make fun of them. So, I don't watch it. I just watch on the Twin Spires basically, and solves all the problems. I just watch the races.
Yeah. Typically I'll have it on in the background just because it helps, like, remind me, like, I'll hear the race, like, they're talking, you know what I mean? It's like, I know it's coming up because I'll, like, be doing other stuff, and then I'll be like, oh, I need to watch that, and then I'll watch it on Twin Spires or whatever, the actual race. Yeah. But so I do hear, like, the commentary and stuff in the background, so that's kind of why I'm, like, always at least up. I'm not, like, on my couch or whatever watching it steady because I would want to blow my brains out after that. But I do have it on as kind of a reminder. Well,
and I mean, it won't be long till different people will be on there, and people we may know might be on there, so it is what it is. They're trying to put on the most entertaining show they can for everybody. And look, those people have a lot of fans. I mean, they get made fun of a lot, but when you see them at the track, there's usually somebody talking to them. So, there's a lot of fans of them as well. It goes both ways.
Oh yeah. All right, guys, that's all the time we have. Check us out over at racingdudes.com for our premium and free selections. Just click the Get Racing Dudes premium button at the menu at racingdudes.com. You can learn more there. You can also go ahead and grab that betting Bible. So we have the betting Bible available for sale now. The actual version will be out later on this evening. So be on the lookout for that. Again, be on the, we typically will update it every morning, especially on Saturday morning. So you make sure you go and get that, even if there's not a ton of scratches, get the new version on Saturday morning. That way you have all our final takes and analysis there for Saturday at Monmouth Park. We're on Twitter at racing_dudes, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. You can find all episodes of Blinkers Off, of course, on our website at racingdudes.com on the podcast page. We also are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. So make sure if you're watching us on YouTube, hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that notification button. Give us all the likes because we have a ton of content, not just for Saratoga, but Del Mar, the Breeders' Cup, everything you want. We have analysis and commentary here on our YouTube page. Guys, just we're about to end. Get off and go over to Magic Mike. Magic Mike is going now. They're doing the Del Mar pick 5, late pick 5. You got the Dudes Who Bet Sports will be on later. And then we also have the Hawthorne Live, which, Hawthorne and I absolutely crushed it. We made like $6 last week, I think, but we did hit every bet. It was just very chalky. But Magic's going to take the reins from me today and team up with you. So see if you guys do any better.
Yeah, Magic and I. Guess what, Jared? They're off the turf today at Hawthorne. So not a whole lot to talk about again, but we will be on.
Hawthorne.
It's crazy. But I think one of the races has a pretty full field, even though it's off. So that's good. One of them doesn't. So it'll be a little bit better. But yeah, Magic will be joining us. That'll be at 5:45 Eastern time. And then Papa Dude and I will be on at 7:30 Eastern time. And Kevin B asked, we went 4 out of 5 last week. And so we'll be back this week to do the same thing. Handicap the late pick 5 at Saratoga. Hopefully can not go 4 or 5, go 5 of 5 this time. I know last year, I believe we hit on this weekend. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with this. We're excited though. I know he's excited and ready to go. So a lot going on the channel right now. That's for sure.
Yeah, it turns out you were right, or your dad was right, I should say, about the what was it, Melee or whatever that horse was.
Yeah, Minty scratched.
Right? Yep. Yeah, so there you go. He was right.
Yep. Yeah, Minty did scratch. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, White Beam was
awesome. That was great.
Yeah, he was good. He was very good. Yep.
She got the benefit of every kind of went her way, right? They kind of gave their race, but she took advantage of it, and I thought she looked well. That was her back-to-back of that race. So, yeah, good win, good pick by me. One of my only picks. I think I picked right that day. I guess I did pick the 8 in the race after the scratch of the 1 because that was my second choice. But Jared, did you send out a customer service survey last week? No. I'm trying to think of what that might be about.
I don't know.
Christopher, what was that about?
I don't remember.
Yeah, lots happened since. I don't remember either.
Yeah,
EV Jets ride was. What'd you think of that?
I mean, it was interesting. I would agree with that, but you definitely thought that horse would go out there and pressure, and when she didn't, the race was over.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Well, if we do have any surveys, it will be. We won't put them public. Let's put them that way. So
yeah, right.
I would say anonymous, but I really want to see what you're going to say, Kevin. So at least sign your name or something. But
right, yeah.
All right, guys, we'll get off here so you guys can go check out the Magic Mike show. Again, good luck this weekend. Make sure you go get the betting Bible at racingdudes.com. Until next time, I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Good luck in the Haskell.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Blinkers Off. Join our horse racing community at racingdudes.com and follow us on Twitter at racing_dudes. Want to make money betting horses? Bet with the Racing Dudes.